Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists dental associates with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about insurance and payer mix for dental associates. So what do I mean by that, and why is it important? Well, where you're working, the payer mix can significantly contribute to how much money you make, depending upon what type of contract that you're on. So first, if you're just getting a straight base salary, which is honestly pretty rare in the dental industry, you don't really need to worry about payer mix. You're going to do your work, you're going to get paid the same amount, and it doesn't matter kind of the patients that you're seeing. Now, when you are paid on collections, which is fairly common in the dental industry, or perhaps a hybrid where it says you'll get a daily rate, or collections, whatever is kind of greater, which is a standard way of doing it. The payer mix does matter, and I'll explain why. So you have mostly private insurance practices, you have mostly self-pay practices, you have some mostly Medicaid practices, and then kind of a mix of all of those. If you're paid purely on collections and it's a heavy insurance-based practice, then making certain that there's language in your contract that says you're going to get credit for all of the collections that come in after the contract terminates is very important, and I'll give you some examples. It's pretty regular that a contract will say the dental associate will receive no compensation after the contract terminates. And so let's say you're in a practice and you're getting 33% of collections, maybe there's charging 33% for your lab fees. If you're in a heavy insurance-based practice, the average accounts receivable cycle for an insurance claim, let's just use it at 30 days. For some practices that's great, for others it's not, but I'm just using that as an example. So let's say you give notice, you got to work out 90 days, your last 30 days that you're working there, you're not going to see any of that money come in until after you've gone. So if the average, cycle is 30 days, all of the work you've done in the last month is going to be collected after you leave the practice. So if you don't have language in the contract that states you will get, your 33% of anything that comes in after the date the contract terminates, you have just worked for free for an entire month. So that is absolutely important when you're in a heavy insurance-based practice, that you get credit for anything that comes in after the contract terminates. Now, if you're in a practice that's very heavy self-pay or all self-pay, then it doesn't really matter if you get credit for anything that's collected after you're gone, because everyone's paying up front. All the money is collected immediately when the service is provided, and it's simply not that big of a deal if you don't get collections because they don't have any. Now, also, how much you make obviously is also determined upon the type of payer mix. Medicaid is going to reimburse a little bit less. Some private insurances or PPOs are going to reimburse different amounts. Whereas if you're doing a lot of kind of fee-for-service, self-pay type stuff, then normally you might make a little bit more, simply because you don't have as much that you have to invest into the billing and collections department or pay a third-party biller or any of that kind of stuff. So identifying what the payer mix is might seem a little I guess abstract when you're a new dental associate just coming out of school. But if you're based on some kind of percentage of collections, I think it's very important to identify and make certain that there's language in the contract that's not going to make you miss out on 45 days of work if the contract terminates. All right, that's a little about payer mix for dental practices. If you have any questions about your employment contract or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm at the information listed below in the description. And I appreciate you watching the video. All right, thanks. Take care.